Hi, how's it going, everybody? This is going to be the first tutorial out of a series of where I take you from knowing nothing about music production or NeuroBass at that. And we are going to bring you to a level of where you start from a clean slate project file. We source the samples from Splice. We use SERUM to design the synths, and we get the rough structure of what a song looks like from intro to outro. And what's the other thing? And the organization. All very keen things that you need to have, especially if you're trying to build yourself out a template. And that'll save you so much time. But you have to invest time into the template to get there. Without further ado. Okay. So for organizational structure, we are going to start making, as you can see here, groups, right? To kind of like create the sections, or like if you think about a song as a sandwich, this is identifying what each layer of the sandwich you need. And so this organization is going to help so much. So I'm just going to recreate down here. So we'll insert an audio track, right? And then we will right click and then group tracks. And then now I'll say one group, and then you have this audio layer, or this audio track layer underneath the group. So what you'll do is now, I'm just going to wind up deleting these actually. Let's see. Actually, nah, I'm not going to delete them. Because they're for reference. So you have this group right here that we just created. We're going to right click, duplicate. And it'll spawn it right underneath. And you're going to do that, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Like 11 times. So you can either do right click and then click duplicate, or you do Control D and that duplicates. So we're at 4 and we need like 11. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. So now that we have 11, this group right here, the first one, we're going to name it in caps drums, right? And then underneath that, where we have this audio, or actually we'll just stick with the parent stuff. All right, so we have drums. Next one we'll rename, the next group we'll rename to build drums. And now build as in like the build up, because typically your build up drums are going to be separate than your actual drums. And it's just like you could do it all within the same drums grouping, but again, this is to separate and organize. It allows you to like see your idea and the vision of it and clarity. And then build drums, and then we have tonal. This is going to be all your sounds, like all your synths, and fun, all the real fun stuff. And then we're going to name this one bass. It's going to be all your bass sounds. Then you have sub, or you can even do sub bass if you want, but I like to just leave it as sub. Then you have, I'm trying to think, vox for vocals. And then you have, what's it, atmosphere. Then you have effects. Effects is going to be like impacts. Atmosphere is going to be like pads, things that really build the scene. Effects are going to be for when you're transitioning from phrases. Vocals, or vox is for vocals, so vocals for the whole song. You'll sub is for the sub bass, which is your lower frequencies. Bass is for anything above 200 hertz. And then, well, I have 3 other categories. Let me see. What do I have? 1, 2, 3. What, kick, snare, clap? Kick, snare, clap. Okay, yeah. So this right here is gonna get turned into kicks, or we'll just do kick. The next group will be snare / clap, and then tops. Tops is gonna be like any of your like hi-hats or like more percussive sounding elements. Okay, so now under drums we can do this. Where is it? So kick, snare, clap, tops. What we'll do is we will right click, copy, click drums, and then paste. And then, oh wait, that did not do what I wanted to do. Hold on. So Control Z. So we'll click the audio channel that we have here, or audio layer, and we'll right click on it and click paste. So now we have drums with kick, snare, tops underneath. We don't need this audio anymore. And so now, because top, snare, clap, they are all routing their sound to drums, which is the parent, right? So these are the child groups, right? They feed information up to the drums parent group, right? And to know this, you go over to here where it says drums, and this is the output type. So it's telling you that this track layer, the information it's sending is going to go to the drums grouping, or drums channel. So then that means that this is getting the information from this layer. And then from drums, it's going to the master, or it's probably main if you're on live 12. This is live 11, by the way, which sends it to here. And so with that, we have the drums now set up. So now if we go to build drums, we do the exact same thing, except I'm going to do Control C to copy, and then click on or left click on audio, Control V to paste. So now it looks identical. I'm just going to remove this audio channel. Let's see if I just shit. Don't mind me. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm just moving this real quick. Okay. So now we have build drums, kicks, snare, clap, tops. Right. We have tonal. So under total, we're going to do the same thing of where we're going to left click, sub and bass, Control C, left click on audio, under tonal. Oh, let me, this will probably help. Hold on. Let me see. We're just going to assign different colors so that they stand out. it's terrible. It's better. And then we can get rid of this audio. Let me see. I'm just gonna remove all this. All right. And so bass and sub, we can remove the ones that we have here because we've already got moved undertonal. So delete that. And then Vox, I like to assign white. Atmosphere effects. They're not going to have anything really going on. And then we can get rid of the kick snare tops down here. And now you don't have to worry about sidechain, but you just have it to where you'll make a, what's that? It's an audio track, right? Pretty sure. Yeah. So it's an audio track that, oops, I made the wrong one. Insert audio track, and then you just change it to the sidechain. And then you would do no input. Or yeah, no input. And then, right, no input, master, yeah. And then you can just Control D, duplicate the sidechain, and then just call this one no sidechain, right? And then what? Same thing for this one, where no input and master. Okay, so that's done now. All right, so now we have sidechain, no sidechain. Everything should be looking pretty now, right? Let me just assign this to a random color. And this one. All right. And then we'll also assign this some random color. Same for this one. That. I'm too lazy, so I just wound up copy and pasting them. Okay. So yeah. So now everything. Is it that color? No, it's that green. So now everything's color coordinated. We're looking like a rainbow. Right. Okay. And just to make sure this works, I'm going to pull SERUM. Oh, hold on. I'm going to pull SERUM. We're going to insert a MIDI track. Get rid of this audio. And then we're going to, well, you just double tap SERUM 2 while you're on the MIDI channel. Pulls open SERUM. And just to make sure that this is routing correctly. Oh, the output type for the groups, right? This doesn't need to say, drums needs to be going to no sidechain, right? Because you're not going to have, like, your sidechains for ducking, and you're not going to have your drums ducking for your drums. That doesn't make sense. The whole point of ducking is to let your drums breathe and like come into the, and like be heard. So all you need to do, all you need to worry about is the top layer, like the parent group, right? So build drums, same thing. This would be no sidechain. Tonal, however, is what you want to duck so that it gives space for the drums to come through. So you want the output type to be sidechain, right? And then for Vox, for my vocals, I like to do no sidechain because I don't want it ducking when things are going on, because I want to hear the vocals clearly. Atmosphere, typically I do no sidechain, again, because it's like setting the scene, so it's in the background, so you want to like, it's like keeping the picture the same while things are changing around it. You don't want the picture to keep like morphing and like changing and stuff, because then it's just like weird. Effects, same thing. You're not gonna have effects is typically like, again, transition, so like risers, downlifters, impact noises. So you're gonna do no sidechain because they're like usually small and they're important, but like you don't want them ducking. And then, so now if we go tonal, wait, hold up. So what we have to do is go down to sidechain and no sidechain, right? And where it says off for monitoring, we're gonna move it to input. Right? And we're gonna make sure that arm recording for the SERUM patch is 1 2. If it's working, you should hear sounds. If it's not, it's probably because that's off. The monitoring is on off. And auto doesn't really do it. Okay. So now that that's out of the way, we can focus on the next section. Oh, I can't remember that. So if you so in this top small part of the window, you're going to go right click, add locator, and you're just going to adjust it. So like control mouse wheel upwards, like away from you, to zoom in, do the same thing backwards, and that adjusts. And this is for Windows. I think command, or was it on on like a MacBook? I mean, you just would like do the thing on the mouse pad, you just slide like the way you would zoom in. Yeah. So anyway, so we're gonna go to bar 1 and do add locator right here. I'll just repeat, add locator. This is what we're gonna name it intro, right? Because that's the introduction. And so introduction is typically gonna be anywhere from 4 to 8 bars, or what's that? Was that 1 measure, 2 measures? Like 1 to 2 measures. And then we have the verse, right? Verse is when you're gonna move over because sometimes it doesn't like to line up properly, which is why you zoom in and everything. But yeah, so intro, that's setting. That's like, okay, drawing the listeners in. You're like, okay, cool, what's about to come? Then transition happens, and that's the verse. Verse is where you're setting the scene. You're building the story, right? So the verse is typically, oh, mind you, we're in 140. The verse is typically gonna be like, it could be as short again as 4 bars. I typically always like go for 8, and then that's when the build-up's gonna happen. And regarding the build-up, or regarding this, I mean, you can always tailor the verse around to where you gotta shorten it, but always keep it in 4, 8, 16, 32 if you're gonna do anything, because that's so that the phrasing lines up with DJing. And if your song's not DJable or easy to mix into, or that's gonna cause issues, which means people aren't gonna play your music. People don't play your music. You know, you're not gonna get the exposure, or people can't enjoy it. You know, unless it's an at-home thing, it's a little different. But yeah, just keep it in increments of 4, 8, 16, 32. So yeah, verse, build up, and the build up's where like, okay, the scene's been set, and then now you're like hyping people up, and then build up can be again like 4 bars, or it can be 8. Once again, you always just kind of tailor it as needed. If you want it to be short, it's like real like you get thrown into it, or a little bit longer to create the anticipation. And then you have the drop. drop is always going to be at least 8 bars, or no, it's going to be like 16. It's always going to be 16. Yeah. If you do anything less, it's no. You do B section, which basically, so the drop happens. I'll play through its first iteration, and then after this halfway point, it'll play like its second iteration, and then the B section's like a whole different, or it can be different. It depends on how much you want to change it up, or you can introduce new sounds and so forth. And then after the B section, let's see, I'm just going to insert so that way I'll extend it out. So B section, and then to what? 4, 8. This is where you're going to have the bridge. It's when you're coming out and you're like, like everything's settling down. After the bridge, it could be, again, 4 bars and then straight into a build up, or it could be 8 and go into the next build up. Depends on how much changing or reviving, or like, you can do a lot of things at the bridge. And then again, build up, you can either do a long anticipated one again, or you can do another 8 bars, right? And then this will be drop 2. And then again, just like the previous drop, we would go from 73 over to 81. And then we'll call that B section. And then after the B section, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Move it out, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then over here is 8. This will be outro. And then that's when you come out of the song. And then you can have it to where it goes 4 or 8 bars. Typically, I like to let my things ride out, so that way you get like another, like you hear the intro again and shit. And so with that, this is going to be end. Nothing should be coming after that. And that, my friends, is organizing all the appropriate groups, right? And then structuring the song by breaking it up into, most of it's 8, 8, 16, 16, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Funny enough. And that is just to organize and structure, and then because this is NeuroBass, I have it at 140. And then you go up here, and then you click File, and then you go to Save Live Set As, and then you make sure you're in ABLETON Projects, right? And then you would change the name of Untitled to, I'm calling this Necrotic, and then from there you would hit save. I'm not going to, because I've already saved this project beforehand. And yeah, and then that would be first video. Hope you enjoy, and I'm going to be doing a part. I don't know how many parts it's going to be, but we're definitely going to have part 2. Don't know when it's going to release yet. I'd like to do this pretty soon, actually, like each day, or maybe tonight. Who knows? But yeah, check out the next video.